I work at a recruitment company, Precision Sourcing, leading the team. I've been there for 10 years. 10 years on Sunday it was actually, so that's been quite a long time. I recruit as well as managing a team. Also manage most of our technology operations style stuff internally as well. I only ever worked in recruitment. I only ever worked in data recruitment. So yeah, simple as that really. I guess the worst career advice I ever received was when I became a manager at Precision. I was quite young. I think I was 24, and the people I started managing, the people around me, were my friends. Um, and it was really hard the first 2 or 3 months because they didn't see me as a leader or a manager. And it was a good time for me to find out who actually were my friends and who were just my colleagues, because some of them made my life really hard for no apparent reason other than they were a bit older than me and just didn't want to be told what to do by me. And I've never been a really authoritarian micromanager anyway. So it was very much, as long as you're doing your job, you can kind of get on with it. And so then I guess it's good and bad advice. So I got some really good advice from my boss, Simon, who said, you're doing really well. You can try and change yourself as much as you want, but at the end of the day, the problems they've got are their own. So you could go out your way trying to do this and that to appease them, but they're still going to find another way of kind of bringing you down in that sense. So he just said, get them in a room, listen to them, nod, accept, but don't try and, argue, retort, all the rest of it, which was great advice, because then the people who were my friends started trying to give me advice on how to manage people. And they've never managed anyone before. So they were like, well, you need to be more like this. You shouldn't talk to people in this way. This is how you should have dealt with that situation. So I just nodded along. That helped them get it off their chest. So that was the advice from Simon. And that helped the relationships kind of build again from there. And then obviously the advice they were giving me was terrible, because that's why they weren't in leadership positions. So I guess that, to wrap it all into one nice little bow, that was the time I learned the most about other people as well. I wish that I knew that I was going to be good at recruitment. So you know what recruitment's like. Even in the first couple of years, like, it takes a very, very rare breed, 0.1% of recruiters, to be like, this is me. This is definitely the thing I'm going to be doing for a long time, because most people fall into it. So because I was 21 and I was super like green in terms of the world, I was like, oh, great, it's a job in an office. I'm going to give it a good crack. I wish, rather than just saying I'm going to give it a good crack, I would have been like, right, you're setting something up here that's for the long term. Because I found it quite easy at the beginning of recruitment, because at the core of it is speaking to people, listening to people, which is what I'm good at. And then because I found it quite easy, year 2, I took my foot off the gas, because like, well, this is really easy. I can just float by. And that made me then go down, which then that's even harder to then get back out of, because you start questioning everything. So yeah, the piece of advice I wish I had given myself, or listened to someone at the beginning, because they were telling me, is that this can be a career. You can be in it for a long term. So build your house on stone rather than on sand. The first 2 years of leading people, I wasn't direct enough with people. I was too scared of how I was going to make them feel, and in reality, I wasn't helping them by doing that, and not dumbing things down, but making things easier for them in terms of the message that I was delivering. In fact, being direct and blunt is just what people need sometimes. And I spent too long worrying about how I was going to make them feel. And in reality, they're going to feel better if they're doing well at their job. So I think that's something that just because of my personality, I've had to work quite hard on over the years. Really good leaders. Simon, Jill, and Rick have been amazing. They led me throughout the 10 years in a really empathetic, open environment where I've never felt that I couldn't say something, I couldn't speak up, and that they didn't have my best interests at heart. So I wouldn't be at Precision for that long if I didn't have good leadership like I do. The willingness to admit mistakes and be open and to accept mistakes, as long as you're accountable for them, I think is huge. Whether it's a small or massive screw up, everyone makes mistakes. You made a mistake, but what are we learning from it? Where do we go from here? Let's be solution focused. I think that's massive. And then just the investment that they had in me in terms of me as a person rather than me as an employee. So yeah, that's just really easy answer that one.